evening from Wembley Stadium, where in less than 2 hours' time England's footballers will try to make history. Victory over Denmark will take England to their first major international final since the World Cup of 1966. Well, as you can hear and see over my shoulder, fans are already gathering for tonight's Euro semi-final, where the vast majority of a 60,000 crowd will be roaring on the Three Lions. Our sports editor Steve Scott reports on a date with destiny for a team and a nation.
The looks and sounds may be familiar. The significance of the game itself is anything but. Tonight, Wembley stages a national event when for 2 hours, tens of millions will have their nerves tested to the limits. A night when heroes are made and potentially history is rewritten.
I've watched England all my life. I'm 54. I've never seen a team like it.
3-0 England.
I'm excited, 11 out of 10, and I think it's going to end up 3-0.
I'm absolutely buzzing. It's England, it's the semi-finals, it's Wembley, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Pearce, who scored that night, says England must use home comforts.
I know sort of from my experience playing in front of a home crowd at a major tournament, the momentum that offers you and gives the team is quite incredible, and it's going to be a major plus for us.
The last major semi-final England reached was at the World Cup 3 years ago in Russia, when after leading they were eventually outclassed by Croatia. Danny Welbeck, a member of that squad, thinks that defeat will help tonight.
It was one that was obviously very, very difficult to take. Here again today in the semi-final, you know, it's hard to not feel that experience of, you know, being knocked out, and you know, it's one where it gives you that extra motivation to want to improve and to go that step further.
England's captain, whose impact has grown with every game so far during this campaign, agrees the Russian experience is one they don't want to suffer again.
We can talk as much as we want now. It's about going out there and doing it on the pitch, so we need to show as a group that we can go one step further than what we did in Russia. Obviously we're in a good place at the moment, but it can all be taken away so quickly.
England's players are now Wembley bound. Time for each and every one of them to contemplate just how much tonight means to so many. It's quite the responsibility.
So England are at home. Inside the stadium, 50,000 fans will be right behind them. They're undefeated so far. They've yet to concede a single goal. They couldn't really have asked for much more. Now all they have to do is to make that count.
All right, Steve, thank you. Well, as the excitement builds here, millions more fans around the country have been preparing for tonight's match in schools and village halls, in pubs and parks, in cities and towns and villages. They've been getting ready. Richard Pallow reports.
Bruno the Bulldog's ready. So are all his neighbours. The last flag up, hoping they don't all have to come down later.
I bought a flag for 90p. And then I brought it home, and then we all just got a bit excited, and then ends up getting 200 in the end.
The anticipation, palpable. And what is this, a pre-match snack?
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting ready for the barbecue.
Fans counting down the hours in all sorts of ways. White and red, the only colours of the hairdressers. George, Charlie and David have tickets for tonight. Their warm-up, well, what else but ensuring England wallop Denmark.
Yeah, buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing. You know, I couldn't get any sleep last night.
I didn't sleep.
I was just like,
I went to sleep.
I was awake just like,
yeah,
wide awake.
No such nerves here. Corby, the psychic tortoise, with a slow build-up, but a decisive finish. One dandy lion in his mouth, 3 lions at Clarence House. And at school assemblies everywhere.
It's coming, football's coming home. Come on, England, it's coming home! Come on, England, it's coming home!
At Kyle Walker's old primary school, they've been practicing their football and predictions.
Hoping 5-0, maybe.
Not everyone's as confident. Those old enough or wise enough to know England in semi-finals tend not to work out.
Just unbelievably excited to be here, nervous about the game, but can't wait for it to start.
Some are even practicing their celebrations early, with tens of millions getting ready to watch in a bar or on the sofa, or quite possibly later, from behind it. This is England, after all. Richard Pallo, ITV News.
Well, many fans are gathering to watch on big screens. Juliet Bremner is at the official fan zone in Trafalgar Square in London. So, Juliet, give us an idea of the size of the crowd that they're expecting to see there.
Well, it's just starting to grow, but it's going to be quite small. These are the lucky few. These are the ones who've won the golden ballot, a ticket for free tickets when they went into this competition to be here at Trafalgar Square. Obviously, this is normally the traditional cauldron of celebration if England are lucky enough to have some sporting success. But there are only 1,500 of them here, and it isn't normal times. They aren't poised to jump into the fountains like they normally would do. There aren't the flags on the lions because this is a socially distanced event and it's going to be quite strictly controlled. They've got to stay sitting at those tables. There are big screens all around us and they are being watched. But if England win, don't bet it's going to stay that way.
I don't think so. Juliet, thank you. Well, on to other news now. Boris Johnson today defended plans to delay easing the rules on self-isolation by almost a month after so-called Freedom Day on July the 19th. There were just over 32,500 new COVID cases today, with the deaths of 33 more people. I'm joined now by our political correspondent, Libby Vina. Libby, what more can you tell us?
Well, there are some MPs who believe there's a contradiction at the heart of government policy, namely that so-called Freedom Day on July the 19th will be anything but for those forced to self-isolate at home. Now, that's because, effectively, even if you have been double jabbed and had a negative COVID test and you're pinged, you still have to self-isolate. Now, the chair of the Science and Technology Committee, Greg Clark, estimated that some 5 million people could be in that position by the middle of next month. And he pressed the Prime Minister as to why he was pursuing the policy on self-isolation.
We're asking people to isolate. I know how frustrating it is. But why? Because we have to. I'm afraid this is a highly contagious disease, and we have to do what we can to stop its spread.
Well, earlier, Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, suggested that the Prime Minister was leading us to a summer of chaos and confusion. Not surprisingly, Boris Johnson disagreed.
All right, Libby at Westminster, thank you. Well, Mr Johnson reignited the controversy triggered by the ITV News investigation into Amazon's destruction of consumer electronics. Today he told a parliamentary committee he'd been horrified to learn about the practice. Amazon denies sending any item to landfill. The government today confirmed the temporary uplift in universal credit will start being phased out from late September. Charities say the £20 a week increase introduced to help people during the pandemic should have been made permanent or extended for at least a year. And Jamie Vardy's wife Rebecca, here on the left, is tonight claiming a partial victory in the libel battle of the two footballers' wives. Well, Mrs Vardy is suing Wayne Rooney's wife Colleen over accusations of leaking false stories about Mrs Rooney's private life. That is all from us for now. Don't go away because, of course, the coverage of England's big match starts right here on ITV after this programme. News at 10 with Julie will follow straight after the football, so it will be later than usual at 10:35, unless there's extra time and penalties, in which case it'll be just after 11:15. But from me and all the team, goodbye. Good luck, England.